May the peace of the Lord be with you all. Today's Gospel Reflection, October 22, 2025, Wednesday. The Holy Gospel according to Luke chapter 12 verse 39 to 48. Jesus said to his disciples, "Be sure of this, if the master of the house had known the hour when the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be prepared, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come." Then Peter said, "Lord, is this parable meant for us or for everyone?" And the Lord replied, "Who, then, is the faithful and prudent steward, whom the master will put in charge of his servants to distribute the food allowance at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master on arrival finds doing so. Truly, I say to you, he will put him in charge of all his property. But if that servant says to himself, 'My master is delayed in coming,' and begins to beat the menservants and the maidservants, to eat and drink and get drunk, then that servant's master will come on an unexpected day and at an unknown hour, and will punish the servant severely, and assign him a place with the unfaithful. That servant who knew his master's will, but did not make preparations nor act in accord with his will, shall be beaten severely. And the servant who was ignorant of his master's will, but acted in a way deserving of a severe beating, shall be beaten only lightly. Much will be required of the person entrusted with much, and still more will be demanded of the person entrusted with more. Brothers and sisters, sin must not reign over your mortal bodies, so that you obey their desires. And do not present the parts of your bodies to sin as weapons for wickedness, but present yourselves to God as raised from the dead to life, and the parts of your bodies to God as weapons for righteousness. For sin is not to have any power over you, since you are not under the law but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Of course not. Do you not know that if you present yourselves to someone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one you obey, either of sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness? But thanks be to God that, although you were once slaves of sin, you have become obedient from the heart to the pattern of teaching to which you were entrusted. Freed from sin, you have become slaves of righteousness. The Gospel of the Lord. In this Gospel, Jesus calls us to live with readiness and faithfulness. He reminds us that the Son of Man will come at an unexpected hour, so we must always be prepared, not out of fear, but out of love and devotion. The story of the vigilant homeowner teaches that being a disciple is not a part-time role. It's a way of life. We are called to live each day as if it were our last, to be faithful even when no one is watching, and to serve others sincerely. True readiness means living with integrity, kindness, and obedience to God's will. Jesus also speaks about responsibility. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. This challenges us to look at the blessings we've received, our time, talents, faith, and relationships, and ask ourselves how we are using them. God trusts us with these gifts not to keep them for ourselves, but to serve others and build His kingdom. The unfaithful servant represents those who become careless, selfish, or distracted by worldly pleasures. Jesus warns us not to grow complacent in our faith. We are stewards of God's grace, and one day we will give an account of how we lived. Reflection message: being ready for the Lord's coming is not about predicting when, it's about being faithful now. Every act of kindness, honesty, forgiveness, and service prepares our hearts for His return. Let's live each day aware that our life is a gift and our mission is to love. Prayer: Lord Jesus, help me to be a faithful and wise servant. Teach me to live each day with love, humility, and readiness for your coming. May I use the gifts you've given me to serve others and glorify you always. Amen.